Okay, reception, we're carrying on with more, less, fewest, most, working out, showing ways of finding out who has the most. So today I'm just going to do an activity with Jack and Sarah. Now Jack and Sarah are going to have some letters delivered to them. Okay, now what we're going to do is we're going to try and work out who has the most letters, who has the fewest letters. So I'm going to show you. I'm going to roll the dice. Now I've got a special dice here, 0 to 9, but you can just use a normal dice. So I'm going to roll my dice, and this is for Sarah. Now can you see it's landed on that number? Oh, what number is this one here? 4. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to give Sarah 4 letters. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then I'm going to do the same for Jack. I'm going to roll the dice and let's see what it lands on. Oh, what number is that? Oh, hang on. Oh, no, because look at the dots there. So that is 9. So what we're going to do is we're going to give Jack 9 letters. 1, 2, 3, 4. Do another one there. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Now, can you see Jack and Sarah's letters? Let's turn this phone around a little bit. Let's move these ones out of the way because you don't need them. Now, Sarah had 4 letters and Jack had 9. Now, who had the most? I wonder if you could tell me. Who do you think? Who had the least? So, was it Jack? Did he have more letters? Or did Sarah have more letters? And when we say the most, we could say, you can also think about it as the biggest amount of letters. And when we say who had the least, we can say that just means who had the smallest amount, in this case, of letters. Now, who do you think it is? Do you think it's Jack or Sarah? Now, you can shout out the name. But then we've got to prove it. We've got to prove that one of them had more than the other. Now, we think it was Jack, don't we? I think it's Jack. So how are we going to prove it? How are we going to work that out? And one way of doing it is, we did this with the sweeties, didn't we? With the bear sweeties. We can look at that and say that looks like the most amount of letters, that looks like the least, that looks like the biggest amount, that looks like the smallest amount. But let's find out, let's prove it. So what we could do is we could put the letters like this. 1, 2, let's hold my table, squash them together. I could even turn them this way, couldn't I? Shall I do it that way? So they all fit in. Turn them around now. Okay, what number was that? Number 4, number 5, 6, 7, 8, and the last one, 9. So there are Jack's letters. Let's put Jack at the end so you can see Jack. Okay, and then we're going to put Sarah at the end, and there's Sarah. She had, well, we could start this end, couldn't we? 1, turn it around so the stamp's in the right place. 2, 3, And the last one, 4. Now, can you see by lining it up, we can see that Jack had more than Sarah. As Sarah had the least and Jack had the most. Now we've proved it, but the next thing you've got to do is the question is how many more? And yesterday we were looking at how many more Baby Bear had than Mummy Bear, or how many more the difference between the amount Mummy Bear had than Daddy Bear. How many more? That's all. So all you've got to do is look and you count on from here. So you know they both had 1, 2, 3, 4. But let's find out how many more Jack had. He had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He had 5 more than Sarah. Can you see? So we're working out, by doing this, we've learned the words more and or most and least, or biggest and smallest. We've learned that to count is probably easier to put them in a line to see who has the most. And then by doing that, we can find out how many more by going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now, what I would like you to do, I'm going to ask mummies and daddies, you may not have Sarah and Jack. You can get a dolly or the teddies or some other toys you have. Just choose 2 and then you could have a dice. You should all have a little dice in your house. If you don't have a dice, you can just put the numbers. You can put the, let's move that out the way. You can put the numbers 1. We've got 1 to 9 on here, haven't we? Or you could have a dice with 1 to 6. You could put the numbers 1 to 9 or 1 to 6 in a bag and pick them out and say, how many does Jack gonna have? How many is Sarah gonna have? And you don't have to use letters. You could use anything in your house. You could say, how many bits of pasta is Jack gonna have? How many bits of pasta is Sarah gonna have? You could use sweeties. You could use Lego. You could use cubes. You could use counters. You could use, if you've got little pebbles, or I'm trying to think what else you may have. Pieces of fruit. Or let's think,